I've got a quick question for you, alright? I wanna hear your thoughts, I wanna know what's on your mind. I've got a quick question for you, alright? The answer's not important, I'm just glad that we could talk tonight. So what's your favourite? How did you get? When will I be remembered? Was it after? Where did all the How do we know? Oh, forget it. Soren, Bowie, Daniel O'Brien, two best friends and comedy writers. If there's an answer, they're gonna find it. I think you'll have a great time here. I think you'll have a great time here.
Yeah, we count down to start the recording, and Soren took a big old sip at 1. That's normally when I start talking to introduce the show, but had to wait for a big old sip of something.
We should just start the show like two people at lunch who aren't talking. Like the conversation hasn't really kicked off yet, and it's just like you hear a lot of like silverware clatter and maybe some drinking, and then we're like, "Oh, I heard a thing," and then we go to the show.
Soren, how are you? The show's Quick Question. You're Soren. I'm Daniel. You write for American Dad. I write for Last Week Tonight. Both of those bits of information come with asterisks of as of recording.
Yeah, I don't know. Things aren't great. Mostly because I'm just having trouble with my gun.
Oh, God. I was going to make one of those jokes about, like, you're sad because the breaking news before this was
Hulk Hogan dying.
Hulk Hogan died. And I was going to make a joke about you're sad that you lost another white guy comfortable saying the N-word. Like, I was going to make a joke that you are, like, secretly a conservative monster. And then here you go.
Having trouble with my gun.
With reality.
My gun's pissing me off.
Yeah.
Well, so I have this great gun, and when I went, this is something I inherited. That's like this. It's called a single 6 Ruger. It looks like a cowboy gun. It's very cool looking. But the way that they're built is like the cylinder. You know, the thing you turn, you put the bullets in.
Yeah. For
the Ruger, there's 2 different ones. There's one that you can change out for just a little bit bigger caliber, called a .22 Magnum. Uh-huh. And I was like, oh, I wish I had that piece. And then I went home to help my mom move out of her house, and lo and behold, there was this cylinder, and I was like, oh, cool. So I couldn't wait to get it home, like find time to go shoot it. So I was waiting until after our show wrapped and we were on hiatus, and yesterday was the day where I was like, I'm gonna go shoot this gun. So I took it, and as soon as I put the cylinder in, I was like, oh, it doesn't turn very well in the gun. Like there's something, it's rubbing or something. And I put the .22 Magnum rounds in it, and I was like, oh, these fit, but it doesn't look any different than my other cylinder. And so I put the .22 Magnums in that cylinder too, and they fit. And so now I don't know, there's nothing on the cylinders that indicates whether they're 22 or they're .22 mag, and I can't. Is this helpful conversation to you?
No, it's just like I don't have enough gun specifics that I can even make a fun joke or anything.
Yeah.
I do feel like if you're having any trouble, the internet is full of people who at least pretend to be experts at guns.
I've been there.
Some of them broken clock and all that.
I went and I checked it out. The issue is that now I can't fire anything out of it other than the 22 mags, because if it's not that, then what can happen is you get this thing called the shell can split. Like as you shoot, the chamber's too big for it, and so there's too much room in there, and then the gases and the pressure can make the shell split as it comes out, and that would be very dangerous.
Sure.
So now I don't even know if I'm allowed to shoot this gun anymore. That's sad for me.
What a shonda.
So gun talk. Well, how's your gun?
I don't have a gun, and if I did,
man, you gotta get
it
one.
would be rusted and full of bugs from disuse.
Yeah,
I'm certain.
Yeah.
I don't mean to be so dismissive of guns. I just don't like them, and I think they're bad, and I think we shouldn't have them.
I agree with you.
Great.
I am a gun owner who who doesn't want a gun. I think that it would be, honestly, it'd be a huge load off of me if Biden was like, hey, we're taking your guns. Also, I'm still president.
Yeah.
I would be like, oh, great. That's good news, because this has been a headache for me.
Yeah. Well, Soren, I got a quick question for you.
Yeah, you want to talk about something else?
I really do.
Wait, can I jump in here really quick?
Yeah.
Yes.
So I get that guns themselves are kind of a dead end here, but what about like self-defense? If someone did break into your home, like what would you guys be?
We did. We had like what's next to your bed? Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think it was before your time. I think we still had that guy who wore sunglasses and laid on the floor.
DJ Vincent. Yeah.
Yeah. We talked about what our self-defense method was, but this wouldn't be mine, by the way. There's just no way to get it in time. It's in a safe. It's not loaded. Like, there's a lot of work I'd have to go to get it ready. There'd have to be a very slow intruder that wanted to hurt me in order for me to use it. Also, I'd be aiming towards my kid's bedroom, which is like just not ideal.
Yeah.
So I don't think I would even use it for that. I just die. Just die. Yeah. Let me open the safe for you first, and you can have this gun, because I don't want it anymore.
I believe the answer to Gabe's question, though, if you don't want to go back and listen, my self-defense would be the mighty pen, perhaps.
Yeah, I've
some
heard it's
wicked barbs.
Mightier than some different weapons.
Yeah.
Which is nice. I also have one that's mightier than some other weapons. It's called my axe.
Yeah. You hold it like this.
I want to show you my fists. Because those are the babies that are doing the real heavy lifting. Yeah, I have an axe it's an axe that's it's like just in my room. It just happens to be there. But it does seem like a thing where if I came at you with an axe, you'd be like, oh shit, I didn't expect that. And that might be startling enough that you'd run away.
if there was an intruder in the house and we were upstairs sleeping, we would probably just lock our door, let them take whatever. There's nothing of real value anywhere in the house. They can go and rummage around downstairs while we're watching them on camera and calling the police from the safety of our bedroom. Watch them, like, watch Jackson note their presence and then roll over onto his back so they could scratch his belly. And I'll watch them, like, steal things while we're calling the police. If I am anywhere on the ground floor when they come in, I think I am running to the shed, from which I will burst with just so much crazier shit than a gun.
Shears, probably.
Nothing that they're ever expecting. Like this giant, this 9-foot electric pole that I use to trim tree branches that I can't reach. I'll come out and, like, very clearly I'm not very steady with it. So they're like, this guy's gonna hurt me even while I'm trying to de-escalate the situation. So I should just go.
I gotta say, Dan, pretty tough pill to swallow to hear you say there's nothing of value in the house, while that painting that I gave you is in the background of your shop.
It's upstairs. This is upstairs.
Oh, okay. Oh,
so
that's
they're on the ground
after.
floor. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Great. Well, and you can't slide that under the door. It's big canvas. Can't let him have that. Well, I think you're right. I think that's also why axe felt like a bewildering enough thing that I was like, well, I'll just leave this here. It's also in a space where my children can't get to it, if you're wondering. But obviously I keep the gun in their room.
Of course. In the children's room?
Yeah, it's just something for them to play with. Like, I don't want them, when they get up early, it's just so annoying to have to get up at the same time as them. So if they have something to interact with.
You gotta normalize it.
Yeah.
They can't be afraid of guns. No. We're not getting rid of guns in this country. You can't be afraid of them.
Get used to them. Yeah. And so that's the life I've chosen. All right, I guess we should do this show.
Yeah.
It's a weird energy today. I guess I came with gun talk, and that really did it. I don't know. I don't know who else to talk to about this stuff. I don't have any gun friends. I don't want gun friends, but I have a gun problem.
You have 2 gun friends. I think one of them you probably don't want to talk to about this. The one from the sketch troupe. I don't think you want to talk to him, because I think if you were like, I have a problem, my gun fucking wheel doesn't spin or whatever your problem was.
Yeah, you got
I think he would counter with, that's not your problem. Your problem is not enough guns. And he would change your life in a way that I think neither of us really want. But if you talk to our other gun friend, Robert Evans of Behind the Bastards fame, I think he would be a great sounding board for all of your gun issues, because he's incredibly knowledgeable and owns lots of guns and is one of the gun owners that has always made sense to me, because something that I've noticed about a lot of gun owners is they refuse to acknowledge what I think is a deep down secret truth of gun owners, is that beneath all of the self-defense and the constitutional right and the protection of your blah, 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 is that you think guns are cool. You like the noise they make. You like how it feels in your hand. You like how it makes you feel. Bang, 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 pow, pow, pow. We've been indoctrinated by like literal decades of pro-gun propaganda in all media everywhere. It's okay to admit that you think guns are cool, but like, because pro-gun people are so worried about not being taken seriously, the vast majority of them act like, oh, I'd never even, you think this is cool? You think this metal heavy thing that I can point at someone and then I feel like God and I
have
can
all the power,
make them go away and it makes loud noise. You think that's cool? That's interesting. I'd never even considered that. Like
I really just got this for self-defense.
The fact
every time that I go use it, every time that I get drunk with my friends by a campfire and go use it, I'm practicing for defending my family.
The fact that they don't bring it up, the coolness factor, makes me think that they are either dishonest or unserious people. And Robert Evans is very, like, from jump is like, well, I have lots of guns because I think they're cool and I like guns and I'm interested in guns, and there's like a historical aspect to it and there's self-defense aspect to it, but also I think they're cool, I think they're neat, bang, 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 look at me, I'm Neo from the Matrix. Isn't that neat?
Yeah, he has a lot of guns. I've seen his gun collection, and he's like, I'm like, I think I gave him the out too. I was like, so like, which one would you actually like feel most comfortable using if you were in a dangerous situation? And he's like, oh, none of these are for that. None of these are for that. He has a shotgun and he's like, I guess this one, because I wouldn't be in control and I need to spray as much ammo in a direction as possible. And so he was like, as much death and destruction in a direction as possible. And I was like, yeah, that's an appropriate response, because I think so many people also anticipate that they are Master Chief. As soon as a situation jumps off, that they're going to be like, okay, I got to go for a headshot here. And that's not the mindset you're going to be in. You're going to be terrified out of your mind. You're going to just be like swinging it at somebody like a sword and shooting at the same time.
Yeah. Closing your eyes while you're firing.
No matter how much you practice, you can't, like Mike Tyson says.
Yeah. What does Mike Tyson say?
He says, everybody has a plan until they get hit in the mouth.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That is something that Mike Tyson says. I was thinking about gun culture and gun owners when, was this a full different year when that United Healthcare CEO was shot? Was
God.
This calendar year? Or a different year?
I think, wasn't that before Christmas? Let's find out.
Gosh.
When was Luigi?
Anyway, while you're looking that up, the point I was making was that when that went down and all of the news was taking gun crime on whites very seriously and doing all of these different specials about protection and guns and everything like that, and very little about what would motivate someone to be unhappy with a healthcare CEO in this current time. They were interviewing, quote unquote, like bodyguard expert type people. They would have them on the news, and I would watch these news segments, and it was like this specific thing is not something that you get like a doctorate in or a degree in. I'm sure there's like specific training that you would go through if you were going to like bodyguard the president or something like that. Like there are certainly security firms where they have people that they train, but for the most part, this guy, this expert that was on the news was like, what I would do in this situation if I were guarding his body, I would be looking behind me and behind him. I would be a few steps back so I could see all things in the horizon. And I would my training allows me to isolate potential threats by seeing, like, I would see over there at his 2 o'clock, there's a column. That is an opportunity for someone to jump out from behind the column. And so I would assess that threat level and I would make decisions from there. And one of the things that is nerve-wracking for someone like me is going into a building without a lot of windows. With windows here, like this building, for example, I can see. That gives me full visibility. I'm like, this is just a fucking guy who played video games. This is the stuff that I would do. All of these like bodyguard firearm experts are all just cobbling together the same stuff that I've seen from movies. There's no like, you know, when I see a writer in a movie or a TV show, it's a very fantastic version of what this life is. And then I've trained and studied and spent my life doing it, that I know what it's actually like. I assumed that the stuff I see in movies where some guy's like, oh, what you got to do is like aim small, miss small. You aim for the button on their shirt, and then that's a torso shot, and you want that, or you want like a headshot, blah blah blah, or like take him in the knee to immobilize him. I think, yeah, that's all stuff for dummies like me watching the movie. But if you were actually training to guard someone's life, you'd get the real training. Nope. They're all just doing what the movie said.
Yeah, and all of them think like I might be John Wick. We don't know yet. We don't know because the circumstance hasn't arrived. But I'm pretty sure that in that circumstance, I would do some gun kata.
So far, I've not been called to unleash my inner John Wick. The closest I've come is I accidentally shot my neighbor because his lawnmower made a loud noise and I didn't like it, and I was spooked.
Yes,
but thankfully, due to my training, it was a non-lethal shot. I just grazed him.
It's a culture of people that love to know a lot about gun. You know what it is? Okay, when I used to when I would ski and snowboard, there were people who knew the fucking names of every single trick there was, and like those kids in your school who knew like everything that there was. Backside, front side, like they knew like how many rotations there were, like they knew everything. And so they knew the names of every single thing. And those kids, without a fail, were snowboarders and skiers there were. Like somehow they think that the knowledge will make up for everything else. And like the knowledge is the task. Like the knowledge is the skill as far as they're concerned. And it's just not. And so you feel like that's those people come out of the woodwork all the time. When anybody mentions a gun online, everybody else is like, actually, I'm the expert on this, so I'll tell you what it actually is. Oh, you use the word magazine instead of clip? Oh, buddy. Yeah, that kind of stuff where you're like, oh, you just know a lot of terminology. And to be fair, in states like California, you have to, because in order to even own a gun, you got to know all this stuff. You got to know that it's a round and not a bullet and stuff like that, because there's a test you have to fucking take. But in general, those people are the least knowledgeable, and they are the most dangerous, I would say. Yeah,
the least practical knowledge. I went out fishing on a boat a couple weeks ago, and I don't think I'm a particularly good fisherman. I like it a whole lot, and I've been doing it for a while, but there's a lot that I don't know, and you can't put me anywhere with a fishing rod in my hands and get a guaranteed fish after that. Like, I will go out sometimes and catch nothing, and I don't know what the difference is between those days and the days where I catch a lot. This day, there was a fishing boat, and I made pals with the two guys next to me. None of us knew each other previously, and I happened to have a lucky day. I was just in the right spot. There's always some asshole on the boat next to me who's catching so much, And I'm always like, why not me? I'm right next to him. This time, I was the asshole next to me. I was the one who just like, I just couldn't miss. And the guy, 2 guys down from me, that was part of this trio that I'd formed, he was nonstop talking about fishing tips and using specifically like terminology like you say with the guns, where like we're fishing with clam as bait, and some of the clam strips are like dense, thick, like feels like kind of a big eraser that you used to have in school, and some of it is just like gooey, sloppy, dripping, hanging down like the internal parts of a clam actually would be. And at a certain part of the day, he just declared, "They're biting on ice cream now." And that was his way of saying like the part that looked melty, he called that ice cream, which I'm sure was a term that someone used at some point. And he was saying they're biting on it because I guess he went down and came up and his bait was gone because he didn't catch a fish. But it was just like, he told the captain when the captain walked by making the rounds, he was like, "Biting on ice cream today, Rich." And everyone was like, okay. And he kept giving tips to the guy next to me. He was just like, so on this particular drift, what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to drop down and like bring it up a couple of clicks, just reel up a little bit. The fish are about 2 feet off from the bottom now. So you hit bottom and you want to go up, and you don't want to bounce it this time. And they're biting on ice cream. So like if you got the strips, swap them out and put on this gooey soap because that's what they're biting on. Tips like this for the entire day. He didn't catch one fucking fish. I walked off that boat giving fish away because I had reached my limit. I had caught too many fish that at a certain point I was like, does anyone want this beautiful 20-inch sea bass? I can't take it. I caught too many. And this fucking kid with his ice cream and his tips, who couldn't catch a goddamn cold out there, was still talking his shit so much, and I don't know why.
I'm having an idea. I feel like we should just turn this podcast into a gun and fishing podcast. Like right now.
There's
clearly a market for it out there. We're not hitting that. We are not touching it at this point.
Fishing and hunting YouTube is so lucrative. They get so many views from dummies like me, and they get such great, cool sponsorships. First of all, like these people who are like, they catch fish and then they clean the fish and then they cook it. And as they're cooking it, they're like, by the way, I'm going to use this seasoning that the company sent me. The company sent me this seasoning and I'm going to use it to cook this food. Or it's a guy who's been fishing for a while and is like, yeah, I'm down on Florida on vacation. And because of my channel, these very nice people with their nice fishing boat decided to take me out to do some deep sea fishing for these fucking Goliath groupers. And it's like, God damn it. All we ever get on this stupid podcast was some Lululemon clothes once. No one takes us on fishing trips. No.
Yeah. I will say, if anyone out there knows guns, I've got a Ruger Single 6. It's a 3-screw, which means it's old. It's from like the 1950s. And I, for whatever reason, have 2 Magnum cylinders. Why would I have 2 Magnum cylinders? That's all. Put it out there.
Yeah.
Let me
Do you
know.
think they're good? And that's going to turn into what for you? Free
Ruger will
more
contact
guns?
me.
Free more cylinders?
Ruger will contact me. And with any luck, Ruger will then send me several pairs of shorts and polo shirts and a pair of shoes.
They don't completely fit. They're not exactly what you would buy.
Oh, but it was a generous thought. That was really nice of them. No, this is probably this is worth a lot of stuff. A lot of money. Wish I'd wear all this stuff.
Oh, should we get into the show?
Yeah, let's do something that people would actually want to listen to.
I don't even know what that is anymore.
Well, we have a better guest than what we just did. I don't know even why. I mean, I derailed this from the start. That's my fault.
Yeah.
I was thinking about it, though.
I know. And it seemed
Go
like you were
ahead.
really broken up about it in the beginning of the episode, so I'm glad we touched on it. But Soren,
Yeah, go ahead.
I'd like to talk about a little show I'm watching right now, rewatching. It's called Full House.
Ugh.
The same way that you are with guns, I have a lot of thoughts, and I don't know where to put them. Don't know who to share them with.
Wait a second. Why are you rewatching Full House?
We just put it on, my wife and I, as like very easy watching, comfortable background noise while we're both working from home. And then we have found ourselves also putting it on when we're not working. Like when it's nighttime and we can watch whatever we want, it's also just like, well, what harm is another episode of Full House going to do?
You're essentially watching...
I gotta say, Soren.
Go ahead.
I have so many thoughts about it.
Yeah.
I watched it growing up in a way that like that we all did. It was just like one of the shapes that was on television, like an inescapable thing. I watched Full House in the way that I went to church and played Little League Baseball. I had
It's
no
safe
control
to say I've
over
seen
my
every
life.
single episode of Full House, and it was not by my
100%.
choice. Yes.
And I feel like I remembered it pretty well. Not to say fondly, but just like I get what this show is.
Yeah.
It's so much more than I remembered it being. In my head, it was like very corny, very cheesy. Problem in the beginning of the episode, resolved by the end of the episode with the sad dramatic music, and Danny Tanner says the right thing, and everyone's happy, and there's big awe. And the show in my memory was like, you trot out the cute little kids to have them say a catchphrase, and then they leave, and the audience loves that. And Michelle filled that role for a couple years, and then as soon as she got old enough to have like plot lines instead of just being a catchphrase device, bam, they shoot out two more little kids to do
two twins,
the cute, savage kid thing. That was my memory of this show, and I'm still mostly right about that. But I find myself, let's start with what I'm impressed by on this show. We don't make shows like this anymore. We don't do contained 22 minutes of television. And
well,
one
show does.
Yes.
One still does. I hope forever.
Yeah. Many people don't do this. Certainly they don't do like 22, 24 episode seasons of that kind of thing, where a problem is introduced in the beginning, solved by the end, and never discussed again. And that's impressive. That's fun to see. I am impressed by, because the show was a hit, and there were so many things that you could do over and over again. When you have a catchphrase based show, when you have easy comfort viewing like Full House, you don't need to do much beyond the loosest of plot that gets you to Michelle saying something cute, maybe Stephanie saying her catchphrase, Jesse saying his catchphrase,
Don't touch the hair.
Don't touch the hair or have mercy. He back and forth did both of those.
That's right.
Give
Cut
Uncle
it
Joey
out.
an
I'm
excuse
ahead
to
of
do
you.
his voices or his cut it out, like his catchphrases, all this kind of stuff.
Would? Yeah, I'm going to do them all as you go.
Yeah, I got that. No, that's clear. You could very easily just like make every episode the laziest version of that show. I was so surprised and impressed that they choose not to do it. Like, even though it's a very repeatable bubblegum show, there is still like, throughout the run of this show, John Stamos competently plays drums, guitar, piano, and sings. There are like dream sequences that involve the entire family doing a full bit of choreography. It's like in the episode where Stephanie dreams of being a dancer, they were all like dancing on a Broadway stage and like doing like a full ass fucking number. There are a lot of dance sequences. There's an episode where they have a telethon where they're raising money for something, and Stephanie does a dance routine. There is a like pretty compelling magic act that turns into a duet. There's comedy bits. It's like a show that again could have just been easy and nothing. They find a couple of times every 3 episodes at least, they are finding some way to shoehorn something ambitious in there. They are showing off all of the talents of all of the people in their cast. And it's impressive. It's cool. I mean, it's something that I feel like if you were watching it as a family, there was something for everyone in there. You could see like, you know, John Stamos is a real fucking talent. He was just like a real talented dude, and they were showcasing all of the things that he could do. There are no sitcoms now where, with the one that comes to mind is How I Met Your Mother, where they had Neil Patrick Harris. So they're like, well, a couple of times a season, we're going to find a way for his character Barney to sing or do magic or do some other physically impressive display. And they've got Jason Segel. We're going to have him play piano or play an instrument and sing. Just like using all of the tools that they had. Full House was phenomenal at this, using all of its tools and choosing not to rest on its laurels. That I found very impressive.
Man, you're really watching this show through some rose-colored glasses.
I know.
I think.
Well, a few other things are interesting about it to me. One that I have to go back to is the jokes are not good. For a comedy that is ostensibly full of jokes, none of them are good. I don't know if the show had bad joke writers or if they had good writers who were just not allowed to write good jokes because of standards and practices or whatever. But it's just bad joke after bad joke after bad joke. Nothing is really getting a laugh. I don't know if it was getting a laugh at the time to like thinking adults who were watching the show growing up. Like I'm trying to figure out, is this a problem with, were the times different, or was this always bad and never really supposed to be a show that made you laugh? Was it just Soup or A Warm Blanket or something like that?
Okay. Okay. I have some thoughts about all this. Do you want to keep going?
I do, because the other thing that is sort of like a twin to the jokes being bad is it's such an alien show, and to some extent all sitcoms treat jobs and specific things fantastically. How I Met Your Mother, Ted Mosby is an architect, and he is an architect in his 20s who designs a building that is going to live in the New York City skyline. And I know a couple of architects, and that's not a thing that happens. You don't just like graduate architecture school, sit in your apartment drawing buildings on paper, and then they let you design a building for Manhattan. You just don't, like, so much of architecture is just not designing buildings that are going to get built in the world. And that kind of stuff makes sense to me. Like when you're writing a show, you don't want to learn so much about the job that you're writing about because you don't want to be handcuffed. If you learn more about architects, then you won't be able to write the plot line about him designing a building. So the writers keep themselves in the dark about most jobs, which I understand. That's why you can have Full House, where Jesse is a successful touring musician, recording artist, and also a radio DJ, and sometimes a sidekick on a children's television show. Yeah. Because they don't know enough about any of these things, they're okay with throwing the rules out the window. But they also do that with, like, there's a scene where the adult men are all playing pool together, and because they got a pool table, because that's what plots used to be on television.
Where?
The boys got a pool
Where did
table.
they put it?
In the basement. In the basement where Joey lives. That became a recording studio.
Yes. Okay. I just was checking the blueprint in my mind that Ted Mosby designed, and I got it now. I know exactly where it is.
They've got this pool table, and it's Jesse and Joey, who for the purposes of this episode are the cool ones. And then Danny comes down, and he's like, I'd like to play pool. And Jesse's like, whoa, this is for men. You can't play pool. Yeah, you're a pussy. It's just for us. Right.
They say that all the time on the show. That's one of the...
You're always crying because your wife's dead, you pussy. Thanks for letting us stay in your house.
Somebody's catchphrase. Everyone in the family, even the kids, always calling Danny a pussy.
Yeah.
Steve comes over and he's like, "Oh, that pussy's in the kitchen.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck this."
What's up, Mr. Bitch? So Danny comes downstairs and he wants to play pool, and they're like, no. And they put some money on it. And then Danny ends up hustling them and like being the best pool player, which is a pretty standard and acceptable plot line for a TV
Fresh
show.
Prince of Bel-Air did the same thing. Yeah.
Yeah, it's happened a bunch. Danny is playing pool, and it's unclear what version of pool he's playing, because he is he's very impressively getting in every ball. Like he breaks,
Not
and a
discriminate.
solid and a stripe both go in. And he's like, whoa, I guess I got 2 on my first shot. And the other guys are like, whoa. And then he's just like, he'll go for a stripe, he'll go for a solid, and he's running the table. And it's so confusing to me, because that's not how you play pool. That's not any version of pool. Like, I get if they, they don't want to introduce Cutthroat, a 3-player game of pool. They don't want to confuse the audience. And they, I'm assuming, took it even further, where it's like, well, the audience won't understand Cutthroat. You know what? These fucking idiots, these catchphrase monkeys, they might not even understand real pool. Let's just have Danny get every ball in the holes. But like, if the writers are writing what they think a radio DJ's job is like, no one in the cast can tell them if they're wrong or being crazy. 3 adults shooting a non-existent game of pool. Surely those men have played pool in real life before. Surely someone would stop the writers and be like, hey, this is a cash cow, and I don't want to tell anyone how to do their job, but like, wouldn't it be just as impressive if Danny was good at real pool? Couldn't we still convey the same idea by having me get all of the solids in and then close with the 8-ball? And if the audience is confused, that's, first of all, they probably won't be. Second of all, it's okay. They're not gonna write into the show and say like, why did he only get half of the balls in? It's gonna be fine. But no one said anything. They just let it be wrong. And that happens so much on this show. What they're buying a car, and the process of buying a car is done in a way that no one who has ever bought a car before could relate to. And no one stops them when they're writing the show. It's got its own cartoon,
its own
logic.
Universe. I understand that.
I've thrown a lot to you today.
As somebody who writes on a show that is a sitcom in which you have to present jobs that you don't particularly know about, you really do take that like the Wire detective approach, where like you just want a fuzzy view. You don't want like a real clear view, because you want it to be you don't want to be teaching in the episode at all, because you're using up a bunch of time to like teach about a job or like a skill set, and you're like, that doesn't sound good. You want to know exactly as much as the audience and maybe a little less. And then you can like build off of that. So I understand that, but you're absolutely right that what that means is that it's a real dangerous territory, because if everyone in the room happens to be really ignorant about a particular topic, and then the rest of your audience isn't, ooh, that looks really bad. Like the baseball scene in Twilight, when all the vampires played baseball. Yeah. How was Twilight? Twilight?
You were close. It's fine.
That's good. If you go back and watch that scene, go find it on YouTube. Go find that scene on YouTube, and you see a bunch of people who have no idea what the sport of baseball is. Both the actors and the writers never played a single game of baseball, probably never seen a game of baseball, but have heard of it. Heard like whisperings of this game that exists, and it's painful to watch. Same with that basketball scene in Catwoman, where you're like, I don't even know what the fuck they're playing. What is this game?
There's a line in Gilmore Girls that always stuck out to me, when a character whose also name was Jesse, and he's like a bad boy, and he wants to get he tries to get some people to play cards. He's like, come on, let's play some poker, $5 a hand. I was like, that's not how poker works. Why would a fundamental part of poker is like
You can
raising money and bluffing. If you're truly just playing $5 a hand, I mean, that sounds fun. That sounds like it requires very little skill, and I have as good a chance as anybody else to take a $10 pot each hand. But I don't
in that case,
think anyone wants to play.
why are we just playing a high card? Let's
Just roll
all
the
pick
die.
one card.
Yeah.
see who wins $5. So there's like a lot. I understand that impulse from them. Is it possible? It's not possible they're playing 9-ball, is it? Like they're just stripe after solid. There's no okay. Well, that's disappointing in the show.
I was Googling immediately to be like, is there any game of pool that is like this? And there's just not. There's plenty of different variations of billiards that you can do.
Yeah, you have so many people. So many people working on the set. Because the other thing about our show is that we don't. You have like if we're not going to catch it in the writers' room, it might not get caught because there's no set, there's no actors. I mean, there's people who are reading their lines aren't reading the whole script. When they come in to record, they're just doing the lines that you gave them. So nobody has like a full context of the script other than the writers. And so if you don't know enough about a subject, you could really fuck yourself. But
But surely when they're on set filming this in 1992 and there's a 29-year-old boom operator chain smoking currently, he's like, that's not how you...
that's how you play pool.
He would only be going after the solids. Or like if he broke like that where he got a stripe and solid in at the same time, I think it's someone else's shot now. I'm pretty sure like he could declare which one he wants, but that's a foul. It's Jesse's turn now.
Okay. Yeah, I agree with you. I think that it's absolutely insane. I don't remember that scene. I'm going to go back and watch it.
I do like another thing I like about Full House that is very, it's not gonna seem foreign to you because you work for American Dad, but Full House took the biggest swings for introducing a character's want out of fucking nowhere. And it's such a blue sky. You could do whatever you want. An episode starts and Joey is just like out of nowhere for the first time. I just really feel like my career is in a rut. I gave myself a deadline of 5 years to make it on television as a comedian, and today is going to be 5 years, and I haven't done anything. And Danny's like, it was funny you should mention that. I'm on the phone with Star Search. Would you like to go on Star Search right now? And he's like, that would be amazing. It's just, I was joking about it with Michael Swain yesterday, and his riff was an episode starting. It was like, so, Dad, you know how I've always wanted to be on the Harlem Globetrotters? Yeah, Stephanie, yes, of course. I just don't think I'm going to make it. Well, that's crazy because the Harlem Globetrotters they're in town. They're actually at my TV station studio. They're holding tryouts today. And it's like, great. And then Stephanie goes and she beats a Harlem Globetrotter for an episode. And then at the end, she's like, you know what? I realized that if I'm a Harlem Globetrotter, I'd be traveling so much that I wouldn't be able to be a good big sister to Michelle like DJ was to me. And so I'm going to respectfully resign from the Harlem Globetrotters. That's like not far off from a Full House episode.
Episode in the bank, right there.
I fucking love it. It's so much fun. It's so freeing. The characters get jobs that are their dream jobs, and then they lose them 4 episodes later, and it doesn't matter.
Sometimes not. Sometimes it doesn't ever come up again. Joey will get his dream job, and then or like he's really into hockey, and he like gets this opportunity to like play hockey, and they're like, but next episode, I don't know, it didn't work out. We're not really sure. We're not talking about it. Like he's back into comedy. We're just assuming that didn't happen. Maybe it wasn't canon. We don't know.
Doesn't matter.
It is sort of like the wheelhouse that our show is in right now, because you do at the beginning of every episode, you're just like, all right, well, in this one, Steve cares an awful lot about this special lake that he goes to and nobody else knows about it, and he goes every summer with snot, and like it's the most important thing in the world to him. And everyone's like, yeah, that sounds right. Like, it's never come up once before. They've had summer breaks before and they're not there. But no, this sounds right. And it's great. It's great because then it frees you up. And everybody watching also knows that. I think that when you're saying like they're not getting laughs in the episode or that the jokes aren't funny, I think you're right. It's not about the jokes. It's not supposed to be like, that's not what hooked people on the show. It was first of all, one of the only things on television. It was in that TGIF lineup. Yeah. It was something that was supposed to be accessible to kids, tolerable to adults, and just felt comfortable, I think. Yeah. And I think that's all they were really aiming for. And so you probably hire writers specific to that. You don't hire writers who are going to give you a bunch of like blue jokes or really high level jokes. Like, you don't want that. It's not what the show is good at. And then also I think as you're making the show, you know the deliveries of your cast, and you know who's good at it, who's not good at it, and you're giving them the jokes, and then you're throwing all of your throwaway jokes you're giving to other characters. I've heard stories about Friends where at Friends there were joke holes. There were people that they would give the jokes to, and they would be like, this person will sell this joke. This will be good. And then other people, they're like, we can't give a joke to Jennifer. We can't give a joke to Chandler in the later seasons because they're just not funny.
Right.
And so they'll rob them of the jokes and give it to somebody else.
Right. Because if I write this joke for them and then they do it in front of an audience and it dies, then they'll cut the joke and make us rewrite it. And I like my joke too much to see that happen to it.
Yeah. And so it's like, well, why burn all that time? Let's just give it to somebody who will do it right. Yeah. And when you get to that, you get far enough in a season, you can do that because you no longer beholden to what you thought was like the character Bible for each of these characters. You have like this detailed list of like these guardrails for what a character can and can't be early on. And later on, who gives a shit? Like, it could have just as easily been Francine, who has this watering hole that she goes to every summer and like that she likes to go spend her time at. It doesn't matter anymore because the characters have broken those rails so many times that you're like, yeah, I'll believe anything at this point.
God, that's so freeing. That's so fun.
It is. It's really fun. And it's good to see that they're taking advantage of it. Now, as for like them taking advantage of it, like trying to show off the skill sets of the people who are on the show, I don't think it's as creative as you're anticipating, Dan. I don't think that I think that they, first of all, are running out of ideas. And so they're like, what are we going to do? Well, Jesse can sing. Let's do a couple more singing episodes. But also, those were the hit episodes of every single sitcom, and they're all trying to land on that again. That's like, you think about The Cosby Show. There were episodes where they lip sync as a whole family. You know, like they're coming down the stairs and they're like lip syncing to a Ray Charles song or whatever. And it absolutely destroys. They're all dancing in unison. Anytime you get the whole family singing and dancing together on television, it's like, it's an Emmy episode. Yeah. And so I think they're all chasing that dragon. I think that Full House a lot of times was like, let's get everybody dancing together. They can do it, so why not do it? And we know like this is guaranteed to be a ratings hit.
I think we lost something as time went on, though, because like, I'm sure the cast of The Office could all sing and dance, but it's very difficult for that show's reality to justify their cast singing and dancing together. So it only happened twice.
Oh, the wedding episode, and what else?
There was a cold open in a post-Carell run of The Office where they did like a lip dub thing where they did Office was like well enough into its run that viral videos started existing, and so they're like, the whole Office should use the mockumentary crew to film us doing a lip dub and try to make a viral video of us dancing and singing at our workplace.
Okay. Yeah. All right. There's on our show, on American Dad, the only show I have any frame of reference for, so I'm basing it all on this. We do have a cast that is extraordinary at singing.
You're who's
It's like a killer cast.
Who's Steve's voice?
That is Scott Grimes.
God, he's got a good fucking set of pipes.
Unbelievable. So famous. He was a child star because of Star Search. You can go back and watch
Like
a
Joey.
video. Yes. He goes, he sings.
Like my hero Joey, who got second place on Star Search doing Popeye.
Doing Cut It Out.
Opening with the catchphrase the audience doesn't know.
Right.
And it killed.
So Scott Grimes has the most, and he not only is he an amazing talent in terms of his voice. Scott Grimes you will write song lyrics. Like in your episodes, you might have a portion of a song that you're like, I want them to sing like this little song. It's going to be, or I don't totally know what the tune is, but like, here are the lyrics. He'll just look at it on the day and be like, what do you want here? Do you want like a sort of like a folksy, like Gordon Lightfoot type of thing? And you're like, yeah, that sounds right. He's like, okay. And he'll just create, or a pop song or whatever. He'll do it on the fly. And it's the best thing you've ever heard. Like he just writes the song right there, the actual work. And it's incredible. It's the most amazing thing. And you're like, oh shit, you're too talented for this show. But then you also have everybody on the show sings. So Seth is a crooner, obviously. His sister Rachel is an amazing singer. I think D. Bradley Baker, who plays Klaus, is also a great singer.
Is Seth MacFarlane a crooner? I didn't.
Everybody is so good.
He's so shy about it.
So occasionally you will just like, you'll have the whole family in a car together and you'll be like, it would be crazy of us not to have them all sing. I don't care where they're going or what they're doing, but on the way they should be singing Rocket Robin at least, right?
That's so. I mean, I have so little understanding of sitcom writing or animation writing, but it's so funny to the way you describe it, making it seem like getting the whole family in a car together was a coup and not something that they can be in a car together every week, Soren.
They can't. Here, I'm gonna give you an even further peek behind the curtain. I just did an episode where the whole family has to be in the car, and they were like, "Can't be done." I was like, "Why not?" And they're like, it's just choreography to not everybody fits. You can't keep everybody. And then if you get into these two shots, you've got other people that are still like a little bit dirty on the edge of frame. It can't be done. And I'm like, no, I think that's fine. I think it's fine if everybody's dirty. And they're like, where's Roger going to sit? You've got Stan and Francine in the front. Where's Klaus? And I'm like, he's sitting down below on like the little console in between. And they're like, but we can't see him. And I'm like, that's fine. We'll cut to him when we need him. And it was the biggest fight I've had at the show, trying to get the entire family into the car at once. Then I was like, Roger can sit in the back. And they're like, well, but then he's behind somebody's shoulder. Is he going to be behind Jeff and Haley? Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think that sounds nice. It's just too crowded. Like they're very worried about the shot, obviously, for reasons that I wouldn't ordinarily be thinking about. But I was like bewildered that this was an issue.
Yeah. I've been reading the Alan Siegel's book about The Simpsons. It's very good. It's called Stupid TV, Be More Funny. And there are interviews with the animators who worked on it, who were very unhappy with like the world of animation before The Simpsons. And they were talking about shows like Flintstones and Jetsons. And these just like disgruntled animators, which is like a thing that I wasn't aware existed, or that you could be disgruntled because I'm a simple person. There's like, all the Flintstones and Jetsons, they only have like they're only drawing like one point of view. The camera in animation is always at eye level. You never see the ceilings. And I'm just like, who cares? I don't understand. I don't understand anybody else's jobs or dreams.
I mean, I understand why Family Guy and American Dad were created in the first place. And Seth was very smart about this, and that he was going to do like an animated sitcom, because a lot of things that you're running into with the 3-camera, you would run into with animation, where you already have this 3-camera setup, right? For normal sitcoms, which means that you've got a sound stage. You're only going to see 3 different shots. And that setup for animation makes animation very cheap and easy. Like the characters are always going to be seen from the same angles. You're always going to be seeing them from the same part of the house or wherever. And then it's a lot of talking heads. You don't have a lot of action in that kind of show. It's all about the jokes, or it's about the people interacting with each other. It's about the family dynamics. And then we fucked all that up. Like, we started taking the characters everywhere.
Right. I mean, it seems insane that it's taken so long for animation to get there. It's very funny. Like, the animated sitcom, the evolution to that is very funny, that someone is watching The Honeymooners, where it's like, it takes place in Ralph's home, or it takes place at his job, or it takes place at his Art Carney's home, and these are the characters, and the cameras are static, and they talk to each other, and that's it. And animation stepped in, and they're like, well, we could do so much more than that. And the only change is that, like, one of the characters in the apartment is a talking dinosaur. Like, that's it. we can break all the rules. This time, the furniture is made of rocks. Oh, man, the future is now.
Yeah, Rosie, the robot, and the Jetsons, they were like, we can do anything. Now let's set it all right back there in the house, and just she will be a robot. Yeah, so I think that was the original intent with the show, because it was like, that would be such a cheap show to make, and it would have been. and then we started writing these third acts that are in other countries and stuff like that, and I think that's why we get in trouble now. I could tell you the things that I learned a lot about animation at the show, about like what you're allowed to do and what you're not allowed to do, and what animators like or don't like. They do not like dancing, and they don't like horses, and they don't like crowds.
They don't like horses?
No, because it's so many legs to animate moving and in coordination that it's a real bitch. So like, especially like a herd of horses would be bad, but a running horse, for instance, is a nightmare to animate. A train is a nightmare too. Like, you're on a moving vehicle, you're moving within this one compartment, right? So you're moving on the train, but then everything's moving outside the window as well. So you're moving at different speeds. Everything's moving at different speeds, and that's like, and it's tough to recycle a lot of that.
But the job is animation. Like, what did you sign up because you wanted to do?
Well, I think that it just gets overwhelming. They're asked to do a lot in a very short amount of time. So you're trying to make it as easy on them as possible, or that's the idea. I think frequently we do not. And maybe that's some of the animosity that writers and animators have on every show. But like a good example is Invincible. If you watched any of that show, the first season of that show has this unbelievable, outstanding animation, like the most amazing action animation you've ever seen in a show. And then after that, every time a character talks, they're not facing camera because they don't even want to worry about lips moving. And there's long scenes in the last season of Invincible where it's just that it's inner dynamics. It's like the dynamics of a guy and his girlfriend, or a dad and his son, or a mom and her son. And it's such a long, boring season because it's so much more expensive to do action. It's so much harder.
Man.
Yeah. Slow motion, tough to pull off in animation. A camera move, like if you were to have like you wanted somebody, like, you follow a pill as it goes into somebody's mouth and down their throat. Oh, buddy. Very tough to achieve that in animation. You'd think like, hard. Oh, it's animation. Yeah, we don't have to use a camera. We don't have to do practical effects. No, it's just like the idea of moving from one shot from like outside the face to inside the mouth. There's no good tangible way to do like a zoom like that.
Yeah.
It costs a ton.
Well, we learned a lot today, Soren, and we talked for even more than a lot.
Yeah, we talked for a long time. I don't know if I'd say I'm proud of this episode.
Really?
Well, I talked a lot about guns at the beginning, and that feels very not only off-brand, but like I don't care about guns. I have one gun cover and it's pissing me off.
And it seems like people might start the episode and think like, oh, it's a gun episode. They're still talking about guns. I better check out this. And then they don't realize we're going to get into the meat of the episode, which is a bunch of Full House opinions that I don't feel too strongly about.
Yeah.
It's just like, we recorded Monday. We're about to record again after this. And watching Full House is like the thing that I'm doing right now.
Yeah. This is our bottle episode.
Yeah.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.
But
I've got a quick question for you, alright? I wanna hear your thoughts, I wanna know what's on your mind. I've got a quick question for you, alright? The answer's not important, I'm just glad that we could talk tonight. So what's your favourite? How did you get? When will I be remembered? Was it ever? Where did all the right we know? Oh, forget it. Soren, Bowie, Daniel O'Brien, two best friends and comedy writers. If there's an answer, they're gonna find it. I think you'll have a great time here. I think you'll have a great time here.